Hi everyone, it's Alistair Clark here from stuntlives.com. My next interview, I've got a lady called Jennifer Caputo. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Really funny lady, really generous lady as well, really friendly. And she's done some great stunts. Mission Impossible 3, Terminator 3. She did Strange Days, that futuristic produced film by James Cameron and directed by Catherine Bigelow. Uh, Austin Powers, the spy who shagged me, sorry. And yeah, she's just done so many good films. Married to Andy Armstrong, fellow stunt performer, and she's the sister-in-law of Vic Armstrong, but she's a stunt performer in her own right anyway, so she's done some great films. Also, the Amazing Spider-Man films. She did the Thor film as well, the first Thor film. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this interview. She's great fun, and yeah, just carry on watching her doing her work. She does great jobs, really, and brilliant to talk to as well. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll catch up with you later. So, Jen, thanks so much for joining me on Stunt Lives. Thank you.
Awesome, Alistair. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, how have you been?
Been very well, thank you. Yes, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, enjoying life.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy thing. Glad to hear now that the strike is over and everybody's going to get back to work.
Yeah.
So that's a good positive. And yeah, kind of regroup over this holiday season and
Yeah.
get ready
Excellent.
to get back to it in the new year. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Right. Well, let's just start. From the beginning here. So, what made you get into stunts in the first place?
Oh, well, um, I was actually a hotel and restaurant management major at UNLV in Las Vegas. And it was kind of my brother that had the ambition of being a stunt performer. He was an Olympic caliber gymnast, went to the trials in 1992, and unfortunately didn't make the team, and kind of thought to himself, what am I going to do with a lifetime of gymnastics experience? I think the choices were either teach gymnastics or join the circus. So he decided to join a circus of sorts, which was yeah, moving out to California, becoming part of the movie business. So
Mm-hmm.
he called me up. I was in school in Las Vegas. I just graduated, and he said, "I'm going to go to LA and be a stunt man. Do you want to go?" And
Mm-hmm.
kind of thought to myself, that sounds much better than anything I had planned for the next part of my life.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so a few months later, I drove from Vegas to LA and met my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's been 30 something years since then. It's been a
Wow.
heck of a fun ride. I'm so pleased that I threw caution to the wind and yeah, kind of followed my brother's dream, which has turned out, like I said, amazingly wonderful for me.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
And
so unfortunately, I didn't have that, like,
uh-huh.
I want to be a stunt woman, and
Yeah.
but again, it's turned out that I couldn't have picked a better
Yeah.
route to go, at least for this portion of my life.
Yeah.
So
Because I was going to say you've done some amazing films as well, though. Seriously, stunt doubling and then doing the rigging and coordinating as well. So that's pretty impressive.
I've been fortunate to be in the right place at the right time and have the skill set that satisfied what folks need, and
Hmm.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
yeah, it's just been,
Yeah.
again, it's been a fantastic ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you like sort of worked with your brother, collaborated with your brother on stuff?
Many times,
Mm.
yes. We've performed together, we've rigged together. He actually just did a little short film that I went and coordinated
Mhm.
for him. So
Okay.
yeah,
Great.
yeah, yeah. Over the years, it's been quite a few times. I'd say over the 30 years, probably maybe 10, 12 times,
All right.
which I think is amazing because sometimes you work with somebody once and then never see them again, or see them 20 years down the line.
Yeah.
So
All
yeah,
right.
I'm fortunate to have those experiences for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you remember the first ever stunt that you performed on TV or film?
The first one I remember performing, I doubled a gal named Alicia Silverstone,
Mm.
and she was doing a film called True Crime. And yeah, I remember climbing out on a ride called the Zipper.
Hmm.
It was a carnival ride, and it was hard to describe, but it had a wheel that spun around, and on that wheel there were cars that spun around.
Hmm.
And anyway, I had to climb out to the end, and like the car spun, and yeah, it was pretty terrifying, but
Hmm.
at the same time challenging. And I thought, wow, this
Hmm.
is definitely up my alley. I like the fact that somebody says, "Hey, we want you to try this," and you can say,
Yeah.
all right, I think I can do that. I think I can do that, and then figure out how to do it.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I think that was my very first
Hmm.
memorable stunt that I did. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. And
yeah.
how do you, get into the mindset of saying, because obviously a zipper ride quite high, how do you get into that mindset of saying, yes, I'm going to do it?
I had a background of childhood of just trying stuff. I was the third child, and I sort of got drugged to everything my older sister and brother did. And I was always given the option to either sit and watch or to try it. So I always tried.
Hmm.
And whether or not I stuck with it or enjoyed it, at least I started, I think, picking up little things of, oh yeah, just try it, why not, just try it, you can figure it out. And you only have to do it once. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. I mean, that's not the same in the stunt business. Sometimes you do. If you don't like it, you gotta and they're like, you got another one in you. But yeah, so I think I got into that mentality as a child, just to try it,
Hmm.
and if you don't succeed the first time, well, then figure out how to make it better the next time.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I think my childhood kind of groomed me
Hmm.
to be a part of the business and understand that that's a lot of what stunts is about.
Definitely. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. And yeah, you're putting that trust as well with the stunt coordinator as well, and that collaboration effect as well that we were talking about before. So yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yes. Yeah, having people there that are all chugging in the same direction, looking for anything that could possibly go wrong,
Mm.
and taking care of that, so we can move to the next thing that might possibly be wrong and solve that issue. It's never going to be perfect. There always are acts of God and things that you just seriously cannot think of to solve before it happens.
Hmm.
But you do your best to plan everything
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
best and safest as
Yeah.
possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have a like sort of specific stunt that you've performed yourself that, do you a favorite one that you've done? I know you've done so many great films, but do you have a specific stunt that you think, oh, that was mine? I'm so proud of that. Mm.
I would have to say I did a car turnover, a pipe ramp, on a film called Bang Bang. It was an Indian picture. Um, and yeah, it was in the desert of Abu Dhabi, and there was a pipe ramp welded into the side of a BMW, and I got to hit it going about 55 miles an hour. And yeah, just the prep and the change of the stunt. We were supposed to have the car in front kind of slide uh, a 90, and it had the pipe ramp attached to it, so it was supposed to slide a 90 and then hit it. But we could just never figure out the timing and the physics of how all that worked. And then you're dealing with the wind and the sun and the elements of everything. So we ended up just having the car stationary in the road, and I got to hit it. And yeah, just all the camera angles that were chosen, and just the experience and the people involved, and
Mm.
just the outcome
Yeah.
was a very good outcome as well. So yeah, I'd have to say that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check that one out for sure. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what training discipline or training did you have to do to become the stunt performer that you are now?
I started off as gymnast. I had a lot of gymnastics experience, kind of from the ages of 6 to 13, and then I don't know, just kind of dabbled in a bunch of more acrobatic type activities. until I graduated college, in which time I met a gentleman named Johnny Airtime was his stage name. He's a motorcycle jumper.
Right.
And I always had a love for motorcycles. And he helped me get my first bike and then started taking me to motocross tracks and introducing me into motocross, which got me fully into motocross, not actually stunt stuff, but the training from the motocross, I believe, helped me enter the stunt business. There weren't a lot of girls at the time riding motorcycles, and having a passion for it definitely helped, because it wasn't a struggle to go practice. You know, it was just what I wanted to do all the time anyway.
Right.
So between the gymnastics and then the motorcycles, did a lot of, I swung trapeze, you know, did some of the backyard workouts that were going on at a gentleman named Bob Yerkes. He used to hold backyard circus. You know, he'd have, just all the circus equipment, which I can't think of right now. But yeah, you'd be able to go out there and just try your hand at a bunch of stuff. So keeping up with that, and then getting into the motorcycles where there weren't a lot of girls that were focusing at the time. Now, the women out there riding motorcycles, I mean, like, I won't take a job riding a motorcycle anymore, because these gals are so phenomenal, and the things that they can do. And I'm so excited that, you know, women have taken that and gone way farther than I, you know, ever did. There will never be a chance. If anyone ever hires a man to double a girl on a motorcycle now, they should be taken out back and done away with, because there's nothing that the women can't do that the guys are doing now. But that really helped kind of catapult me into the business, the motorcycles. And then I got excited about cars and started training in the car stuff. And that, they say, with age comes the cage. So traveling from motorcycles and enjoying that, the motor side and the petrol head side of stuff, moving into cars, was kind of like I think sort of a natural progression, just liking that sort of thing.
Okay.
But you know, I trained a little bit in Taekwondo, but then again, there were girls that were focusing on, you know, mainly fights, and that was their main thing. And so, you know, you just try and kind of grab a little bit from a bunch of different areas, so you're kind of well-rounded. But and the business over the years has changed. It used to be a very specific type. You were hired as a specialist for something, and then it kind of melded into where you needed to be an all-arounder, and now it's a bit more to specialists, you know. So but I think, you know, any skill you can gain, I'm always willing to train and wanting to train and trying new stuff. And so
right. And you alluded to the fact as well that, you know, when you started off, say, doing the motocross, there were very few women in the, say, motocross world, also the stunt world. Did you find it very challenging? Was it, you know, you were up against, say, men dressing up as women doing the stunts, or what were the challenges that you faced there to actually prove that you can do it better than a man, or even the same as a man, if you like?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because it was challenging. A lot of there were so many women that have come before me that have you know, continually set the bar higher and higher, in letting the men know that there are women capable of doing this stuff. There have been a couple instances over my career where there have been men chosen to do stuff. I will say there was a point that I elected a man to take my place, based on the fact that the motorcycle was too big. I was just physically not big enough to do what they were asking me to do with the motorcycle they had given me. One thing I would love to see in the business is movie makers, you know, if you're going to have stunts and things like that, and it's going to be performed by a woman, to pick a proper machine that a woman can handle. You know,
Mhm.
there's just a certain amount, and there's I think it goes that way with men too. You know, there are just some really, really big bikes
Mm.
that they're very hard to throw around. And there are some folks out there that are learning to ride these big, huge bikes, but again, it's training and time and expertise, and then you become a specialist for stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's just the confidence. It's the
Mhm.
confidence of whoever the coordinator is hiring the person, feeling confident
Mhm.
with what their abilities are. I truly believe in auditions or having somebody show you what they can do. I think a lot of the stigma came from, yeah, oh, there's no women out there can do it. But if we hold a little audition and we get the bike that we're going to use and we see what they can do, I think that would take a lot of the questions of whether a woman could handle things. And it's not, that's not necessarily how things were handled in the past. You know,
Yeah.
people just, I have a job to do. I know this person can do it. I don't know this woman. I've never seen her ride. I don't know what her skill set is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think I was lucky because I went a lot out to motocross tracks and I rode with a lot of the folks that rode, you
Mhm.
know, the stuntmen that rode and the stunt coordinators that rode, so they could actually see that I could actually ride, which I think made my path a little easier.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think a lot of it's just the unknown. And if you don't know the person, you don't know their abilities or their past,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know, things can be dangerous. And I don't fault them for, you know, in the past for doing that stuff, but times have changed and women are so much, you know, more skilled and out there doing all these things. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'd really like to see it not be an
Mhm.
issue, you
Yeah.
know, in the future.
Yeah.
But you know, we're still working towards it. Still
Yeah, I was
working.
going to say in a few years' time, I can definitely see that. It's going to be like a level playing field for sure.
Yes.
I guarantee it. Yeah,
Yes.
and you alluded to the fact as well. You said about the confidence of doing something as well, but then also being honest enough to say that you can't do it, and then don't
Yes.
be like ashamed by saying, "Oh, I can't do it," because the
Yeah.
worst thing you could do is go on set, say, "I can do a fire burn." You turn up on set and you can't do it, and then it's just like waste of time.
it's
Mm.
a waste of time. It's a waste of time for everybody and money and effort, and it also then chips away
Mm.
at um at everybody else who, yeah, it just I'm struggling for the word right now, but it chips away at the
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. The confidence or the yes, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah,
yes.
I can't find the word myself either, but I know exactly what you mean. So
uh
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that just people believe in that you can do it if you show up and you tell a fib.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to come back for that, and then the next woman that comes behind you has an even harder time
Hmm.
because they're gonna be like, oh wait, I had that instance with the last lady who said she could do it, showed up, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
What's gonna make me trust you?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, it's hard to do. It's hard to be on a set and be around all those
Mm.
stunt folks, you know, or a certain A-type personality, and then to say, I'm sorry, I don't think I can do this, you know. It's yeah, it kind of stinks.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what makes you go out and practice, and that's what makes you just go, yeah, ask lots of questions, you know, ask lots of questions so you don't. I have gotten stuck a couple of times where I've been told it's going to be one thing, and when I show up it's something different, and I don't have the skill set of what it's changed into. So
Yeah.
I believe communication is huge. You know, ask lots of questions, no matter how silly you think the question is.
Mhm.
You know, get it all straight in your mind, and know that when you go in, you can not only do what they're asking you to do, but you also got a little extra in your bag of tricks that you can pull out when they go, oh, well, we were thinking maybe we could try this or maybe we could do this. And you're
Yeah.
like, haha, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was thinking about that too. And Yeah.
Okay. So, obviously, with the stunt work as well, it goes with the territory, I guess, with injuries. What sort of injuries have you had? Because obviously, you want to minimize as many injuries as you can, but you must have had some horrible injuries in your profession. What was the worst one that you've had?
You know, I'll be honest with you, I've only had a couple of minor injuries in while working.
Touch
Knock
wood,
on
yeah.
wood. Yes, touch wood. And I had most of my injuries racing motocross
Mm,
in my practice and in my just my personal life. My worst one was a broken collarbone, which yeah, is pretty, is almost a compound break. And
mm,
in what it was, they didn't realize that I was, you know, athletic and everything, even though I told the doctors, and they just said to lay there and let it heal. So it healed and it was all messed up, and I had to go back and have it reset and heal again. But yeah, most of my stuff was from outside activities.
yeah.
Because it seemed to be that when I was at work, I was a bit more aware. I
Mhm.
don't know. You're a bit more hypersensitive as to stuff's going on. Like, okay, how am I going to get hurt? How am I going to get hurt? And then when I was on the motocross, I was just like, woo, this is so awesome, and not necessarily taking as many precautions,
Mhm.
in my personal life that I was
Yeah.
in business life.
Okay.
But yeah, I had two scars over one a scar over each eye. And funny enough, both of those were given to me on shows that I worked on for my husband.
All right. Okay. Andy. Oh.
Yes, Andy Armstrong.
Yeah.
Yes, he.
Mhm.
I
Right.
worked for him. My first job for him was on Galaxy Quest,
Okay.
and I had a little mishap where an air ram went off
Mhm.
unexpectedly as I was standing on it, and ended up kind of getting shot up into the air. Was coming face first towards the air ram that is standing up at this point. And
Mhm.
uh, a gentleman named Dane Farwell actually was there as my safety. And yeah, if you want a safety guy, I suggest Dane, because he freaking grabbed me and pulled me over to the side. And the last thing that came down was I just, hit the corner of the thing. It could have been so much worse, but off to the hospital, got some stitches, came back,
Mhm.
finished my day of work, and
I was going to say, did you
yeah,
actually come back the same day as well?
absolutely.
That's
Yeah. Just go
that
go
is.
get stitched up, come back. Yeah, if they'll have you back. Some people get a little nervous, but I'm like, I don't want to go home on that note. I want to come back and finish my day, even if it's,
Yeah.
uncomfortable or whatever, just gotta
Right.
finish. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other one was on Thor. Andy, I was actually just safetying a gentleman named Stellan
Guys.
Skarsgård.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually call him Stellan Scars Maker now, because because that's what this one is. And in Thor, there's a scene where he takes a big drinking mug and he throws it on the ground. And I was on the ground there with a furniture pad,
Uh-huh.
and I had my head down because he was throwing a glass, and it was the most perfect bounce. It bounced, came up through my hand, hit me in the eye. My head snapped back. Yeah, and then so we had to finish the scene. So I grabbed the beer mug as my eye was dripping blood, and they finished the scene. And I went up to the bar and I was like, I think I need a medic.
Wow. Wow. Oh my god.
uh,
That is
So
so.
those were yeah, those are my two
Mhm.
those are my two worst stories of
Very.
injuries on set.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
good.
so I've been, again, touch wood, I've
Yeah.
been super lucky that I've
Definitely.
worked for folks that have been very, very safe. And um yeah, and I've had mentors that have taught me a lot of stuff to look
Good.
after. And
Mhm.
yeah, fingers crossed my record keeps
Yeah.
standing.
Yeah. No. Definitely. Definitely. Okay. And okay, so do you have a favorite stunt performed by someone else that you've seen on the big screen? You're like, wow.
Hmm. I don't know. That's hard. There's been so many
Okay.
great stunts. I mean, and you know, vehicles or fights or just general all
Yeah.
around stunts. I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll do
Okay.
it.
I won't put you on the spot like that. Okay. Yeah. Fair
I mean,
enough.
there's the famous one where my brother-in-law Vic Armstrong, you know,
Mhm.
was on Indy. He did
Yes.
a lot of those great stunts on Indy underneath the horses, and
Yeah.
yeah, just
Okay. Well, I was going to say, I was speaking to a stunt performer the other day, and he mentioned Vic as well, and he was saying about the horse jump from the horse to the tank as well in Indiana
ah
Last Crusade. That each time I see that, I'm just blown away with that, really. And I think,
yes,
and it's a practical stunt effect. There's no CGI, no special effects, and that's why it still holds up because it's so realistic looking.
but
And
it's so fantastic, and you're just like, oh my lord, an actual human being did that, you
yeah,
know?
I
Yeah,
know.
with no help
Yeah,
of yeah,
exactly.
visual or any
Mm,
sort of effects. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, I think that, yeah, it's
Mm,
good,
definitely.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you were going to offer any advice to future stunt performers, women and men, being a stunt performer, what could you advise people?
Oh, I would advise to have some thick skin,
Hmm.
you know. Um, I would advise to work hard and don't let anybody tell you that you can't or won't, or yeah, just keep plugging forward. It's an extremely hard business to break into. It's an extremely hard business to make a living at. Um, but it's something that you know, once you do it, it's just a phenomenal
Mm.
way of life. But just don't give up. Don't give up. If it's your passion, find a niche,
Mhm.
find a anything that you enjoy doing. Well, physically, stunts wise, train, talk to as many people as you can, visit as many places as you can, learn as many forms as you can. um yeah, ask questions.
Mhm.
Again, one of my scariest stunts was I was so green, and I got asked if I would like to do a jump off the Queen Mary, and I was so excited again because I was green and I hadn't had a job, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be great, and I didn't ask how high, and when I got there, it ended up being like 84 feet to the water,
Mhm.
and like we said kind of before, it was like, okay, what do I do? Do I say that I've never done this now, or do I do it, or what? And I was like, look, I said I'd do it, and so I cannot back out now. So get up there and do it, silly woman who didn't ask how high. So I ended up doing it, and yeah, and that's where I learned. But had I known,
Yeah.
yeah,
And what film was that from?
it was an actual made for TV movie called True Crime.
Oh, okay. The Alyssa Silverstone one again, is it? Was that?
No. Oh no, not True Crime. I'm sorry. Oh, good Lord. Um, oh my God. It was a made for TV movie called Tidal Wave.
Okay. Right. Okay. I'll check that
Tidal
one.
Wave, True Crime. They kind of sound alike, don't they?
They do. Okay.
Tidal Wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was got a big, obviously, tidal wave
Yes.
coming obviously through Long Beach and the the Queen Mary.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right.
But
And
yeah, ask questions, ask questions. Don't be afraid. Don't put yourself in spots that you can't handle. Don't ever go into a job
mhm,
where you're at your limit doing what they've asked you to do. It's better, it's safer. It's yeah, you'll have a longer career if you're honest. You'll have a safer career.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's just better all around. So be honest, train hard.
Yeah. Excellent.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And the final question as well: if people want to know more about yourself and the work that you do, where can people find you? or find the information about you? Because I know you've got a website.
I do. I don't really keep up with the website. I've got to be honest. I am so terrible with the social media. I do have an Instagram,
Mhm.
um, but I
You've got
don't
your own,
really
yeah, you've
what's
got the
that?
IMDb page, haven't you? The
I've
I,
got the IMDb page. That's pretty much where the best stuff is to kind of follow what I'm doing in my career as far as um that. Yeah,
Mhm,
but I do have an Instagram, which is Fatty Caputo,
mhm.
and that's pretty much it. And I check that every once in a while, but I really love seeing what everybody else is doing. That's
Yeah.
kind of like my getaway to, yeah, see what funny stuff is going on in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then other than that, I just kind of hang
Mhm.
out with my husband and my dogs, and
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. What a
yeah,
great life. What a great life. All
I
right,
can't
Jen.
complain. I
Yeah.
can't complain. So
Excellent. All right. All right. Well, Jen, thank you so much for spending time with me because I know you're very busy and you're with the house and the stunts and everything like that. So thank you so much. Thank you.
right on, Alistair. I appreciate you being interested in chatting with me. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. Well, keep safe and keep doing the great work you're doing. I love it. It's brilliant. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Ciao.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Jen. As I said, really friendly, lovely, funny lady. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed interviewing her. Give us a thumbs up if you like that, and feel free to join me on my social medias. I've got the handles at Stunt Lives on all the channels: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and also YouTube. Also, check out my website, stuntlives.com. If you've got any comments, feel free to comment below. And if you want me to ask any questions, or if you've got any recommendations who I could try and interview next, feel free to reach out to me. So that's it for me, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye for now.